I know that people used to say that they used to like my long talking videos that I used to back, like, I think 2-3 years ago. So this is going to be one of those videos where I'm just going to chit chat with you guys. I'm not going to edit it. I'm not going to put segments in or anything like that. I'm currently I'm not walking anywhere. I'm currently working on the wrap-up video for July, but I've already edited it like a million times and deleted clips and added clips, and it's a disaster. So I'm working on that right now. There may or may not be a July wrap-up. Who knows? This thing developed overnight. This is a cystic pimple from PMDD. There's nothing I can do about it. I don't want to put concealer on it or anything because it'll make it flare up worse. So yeah, sorry about that. So I've talked about this before, long time ago. I don't even have the video anymore. I ended up deleting it when I went through my deleting rampage on this channel about 3-4 years ago. I was talking about the effects of social media and basically how useless it can possibly be. It goes beyond social media. It goes into my real life when it comes to friendships, relationships with people, things like that. And me being the person that I am, I'm the type of person that wears my heart on my sleeve. I'm a very forgiving person. I'm kind of naive. I'm a very naive person when it comes to friendships. I don't always see people for who they are until it's too late. The social media lately has been showing me how redundant it actually is. And it's not just about friendships and relationships. It's also about the constant negativity that social media spews lately. It's been loaded with something is hitting my window. It's been loaded with the world just talking about viruses and the presidential stuff and you know, things that are completely beyond anybody's control. And when you're constantly getting on social media and you're going through this and you're reading this stuff every single day, every single morning, every single night, it really does do something to your brain. And shame on me because I already know this. I've dealt with this before in the past, and I ended up taking a long extended social media break. It was like a 6 to 8 month break. I didn't get on Facebook. I didn't get on Instagram. I didn't get on YouTube. I don't know if I got on Instagram. I think I used Instagram, but Instagram's different. But I didn't get Facebook or use Facebook, and I didn't use YouTube for like 6 to 8 months. I ended up going on like a spiritual journey, and I ended up just kind of stepping away from certain things. And then unfortunately I ended up going back. I think it was because of the fact that I'm itching my back. I think I was trying to sell something, and we were about ready to move or something. So I ended up going back to social media. And from that day forward, it was just a downward spiral. I was addicted again. So past couple weeks, I've started to realize I'm getting addicted as well. I've noticed I'm on my phone from the time I get up until the time I go to bed. Anyway, I tried not to clip it, but I had to. I'm becoming completely addicted, and I always prided myself on not having an addictive personality. I was like, oh, I don't do that. I don't get addicted to anything. This is the one thing in my life that I'm completely addicted to. And I've noticed a lot of people that do get addiction to social media, they also have an underlying they have an underlying anxiety disorder. They have anxiety, or they have some sort of mental health disorder. And with me, I have anxiety. I have generalized anxiety disorder. I also have premenstrual dysphoric disorder, which comes for 2 weeks out of a month. And I've noticed in that time frame, I am consistently on my phone. I can't even like wash the dishes or watch a television show with my kids or watch a movie with my husband or go to a park or go to a beach or whatever. It's literally in church and I'm scrolling on my phone. And I have to feel, it's like some sort of validation that I get from this. I feel like I'm in those seconds, it's like, okay, I did that. Now I feel better. It's like taking a hit on a cigarette. That's literally what it feels like. But it's starting to annoy me, and it's really starting to get on my nerves because I know the past 3 years I have been in a bout of depression. Back in 2023, we ended up moving. We had a drastic move where we had lived someplace for 6 years. We lived there, and then we drastically just moved. And in the past 3 years, we've been moving nonstop. For 3 years, we've just been move. Obviously, I moved again. But every place that I've moved to, it's always been this depression. And I sat down with myself the other day and I started kind of going through my mind and thinking to myself, what is the one thing in my life lately in the past couple of years that has caused me to not be able to find joy in my life? And why was it easier for me back then than it is now? I didn't have my phone glued to my hand back then as much as I do now. When I was younger, I was more involved with my kids. I was more involved with my house. I was more involved with hobbies and things like that. The only time I ever literally used my phone was to hop on YouTube and look up recipes. I learned how to make bread. I learned how to make cookies. I learned how to make really big dishes and things like that. If I was looking for games for the kids, stuff like that. That was literally the only time that I ever did. I had hobbies. I had things that I did. I literally tried to find things to do. Now, fast forward 3 years later after we had our big giant move, and I wasn't happy where I was living. I was not happy when we moved. I can fully admit that to myself now. When we moved in 2023, I was completely depressed. I was depressed. I knew that I had made a mistake. I knew that I had made a huge mistake. My family was not happy. My husband's mental health took a dive. My oldest son's mental health took a dive. My youngest son, he's not the same. And for 3 years, I lived there. And for 3 years, I had to literally every day try to find a reason, but I couldn't find one. So to distract myself, I was consistently on my phone all the time, sitting in my bedroom, scrolling on my phone. I would try to get into things. I would try to get into hobbies that I used to like to get into. Couldn't do it because I hated that house. I hated where I lived. I hated the environment. I remember one time I was making, I was trying to find a hobby. I like cooking, so I cook a lot. My husband ended up getting attacked about 15 to 20 different people on our front lawn. They were trying to kill him because of a situation that had occurred with my youngest son. He had said some things. At that time, he was only 4.5, 5 years old. 5-year-olds say a lot of stupid crap. I had so much post-traumatic stress disorder from living at that place, from being in that environment for 3 years, that I didn't have any escape. And the only escape that I had was my phone. It was scrolling through my phone and looking at other people's lives, looking at other people's things that they were doing, looking at other people's hobbies. When I myself, I was stuck in here. I was trapped. I'm currently just now realizing this, and I am not going to sit here and say that I'm completely healed. I'm not. I've debated taking SSRIs again. I've thought about taking Prozac or Lexapro. I've thought about, but I don't need it. Because the sad part is I know what's wrong with me. I haven't been able to find myself because of the traumatic experiences that I went through for 3 years and the environment that I lived in for 3 years. And we've been moving a lot. So what I did is I developed an addiction, and my addiction was social media. It was doom. They call it doom scrolling, and it was. And like I said, this goes beyond social media. I don't like feeling like this. I don't like feeling lost. It's been really hard on my mental health. It's been very hard to, like I said, I'll be turning 40 next April. I don't know if it's a midlife crisis. I don't know, but it's this state of not knowing where I stand now in life. I also just went through another critical and shocking event in my life in June when I lost my job. The way that ended was very traumatic. It was very, it literally just came out of nowhere. And my mind, because of the PTSD and because of the anxiety disorder, is not as strong as it used to be to handle something like that, to handle and then just move on like I used to when I was younger. I was so resilient back then, and now it's not like that. It's very hard for me to get past certain things and to grow, not grow, but to, well, yeah, grow, and also to keep pushing forward. And like I said, I just sat down the other day and I just sat there and thought to myself, what is the one thing that's been making me feel out of sorts or lost? That's the only word that I can think of is lost. And it was the addiction, this replacement of feeling. Instead of feeling, I avoid, I distract. And I've been distracting and avoiding for 3.5 years. And it's my new way of coping with feelings. It's my new way of coping with loneliness. It's my new way of coping with fear. It's my new way of coping with anxiety. It's my new way of coping with poor decisions, poor choices, whatever it is. It's my new way of dealing. And it's been like this for 3.5 years, and that's not healthy. Instead of facing myself head on, instead of facing my feelings head on, instead of growing through the darkness, because sometimes you have to, you're going to go through dark periods in your life. I don't do that anymore. I distract myself. And when you're distracting yourself, that's exactly what you're doing. You're not focusing on anything that is supposed to be giving you growth. And that's why I'm stuck. I don't want to distract myself anymore. I don't want to feel intimidated by hard times and by boring times or lonely times or confusing times. And my spiritual life took a hit. My faith, I guess I would say my faith, but my relationship with God took a hit in the past 3.5 years. So much to the point where I found myself a month or so ago in church, and I was so uncomfortable being in the building. I walked out. My foot is going numb. And I started to question that. I started to rummage through that, and it's horrible. I'm not a depressive person. I don't get depressed. But I have been. And I've just been denying it. I've been distracting. So I deleted my social media. I'm going to say Facebook because I still have my YouTube. I'm probably not going to be doing some YouTubes for a while. I'm trying to put my phone down. I feel like I have to validate myself through making videos, and it didn't happen if I didn't make that clip. It didn't happen if I didn't take a segment. It didn't happen if I didn't make that wrap up or so far video. It didn't, But when you're consistently on your cell phone, because what happens is when I do a clip or whatever, now my phone's back in my hand. So I go straight to scrolling. I'm trying to put my phone down. How hard I have to work, no matter how hard I have to dig through myself and dig through these emotions and figure myself out, no matter how bored I have to be or how lonely I have to be, it's time. Peace out. Hope to speak to y'all soon.